guys, welcome to the Get Life podcast. I'm your host Bish, as always. Today, I'm in marvelous Europe. I'm joined with.
It could be anything.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm with Scott.
Hello everyone.
Hello everyone. So it's kind of awkward because it's the first time speaking to him, but we had a conversation before, and I'm here to talk about a lot of different games that are going to be releasing end of this year or next year as well, or
Some this year, some next year. We previously announced that those games would be sort of released within the year when we announced them. As in we made the initial announcement in August, just before Gamescom. So we expect those games to be released before the end of August next year.
And we'll talk about releases that's happened this year as well, and some previous games. Of course, we're going to talk about Senran Kagura because, we love the game. So, yeah. Just as a reminder for you guys, this episode is brought to you by Crunchyroll and Pancrate. Links will be in the description, etc. for that.
You mentioned Crunchyroll, and now I just want to go and sit and watch anime all day.
You can. And if you are, go to crunchyroll.com/kunai. You get yourself 14-day free trial. Every time, just for everyone that knows, every time I go to a games company, whether it's a publisher or a developer, I tend to bring gifts.
Yes.
So thanks to Japan Crate, we got candy, but that's not the gift I wanted to give.
So hold on. We, as you can probably hear, we have some wonderful Japanese sweets that he's brought with. Actually, that's crisps, but
what are they? Like cheddar crisps. There's some weird stuff here. I'm not gonna lie.
So should we probably go through them maybe a little bit? Nobody can see what's going on.
No one can see what's going on, but maybe you can tweet and just be like, he gave us these sweets. I can tell you which one's which. Actually.
So we've got some poriki.
I don't know what it is.
They look like Pockies, but thin white sticks.
Yeah.
We have some Pinot. We have some what basically look like Walker's crisps. We have some shrimp crisps. We have some Pocky.
We've got coconut Pocky.
We've got coconut Pocky.
You can't find this in the UK. That's only in Japan. And the stuff that you find in the UK in terms of Pocky, they're like imports. They're not even Japanese. They're like from Thailand, etc. So you're getting the real deal here.
We've got some, I'm going to call them mini cheddars, but they're not mini cheddars.
They're not mini. They're apple flavored.
They're apple flavored. Oh.
Mini cheddars. They're apple flavored, mate.
We then have, they look cute. I don't know what they are.
What are they? Okay. Something strawberry related. I don't know. I can't read Japanese,
No, neither can I. Strangely enough, I work in a Japanese related environment,
it
but
doesn't mean that you need to speak Japanese, right?
Hi.
Hi. Yes.
Yes.
Great. Lovely. Well, there's other words that you can learn from certain games.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Oh, see, it's improving. Do you think you can learn Japanese just by playing games? Like if you sat down and you just played Senran Kagura for like 2 years straight, only game that you're going to play, just on repeat.
I would probably say not, because as I've learned from one of our other staff members, there's lots of different ways that you can say a certain word. So apparently there isn't, somebody will probably correct me on this, apparently Japan don't have a word for saying no.
Okay.
So there's actually several different ways of saying no, and so one person may say no in Japan, but it might actually mean something else.
Okay, so they like get around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong in that regard.
You could be, because I've never heard anything like that, but I don't know Japanese, so maybe I might be wrong as well. So
I mean, it's well when you compare localizations or translations between different publishers or anime distributors or localizers. Mate, for example, I'll probably pronounced that wrong, means wait, but you can also translate it to hold it. So it's like mate.
Yeah, that every time I hear that, I kind of associate it with like romance anime. Do you know what I mean? Because it's always the guy who's like, wait there, I'm coming for you.
I'm in love with you.
That's it.
Same as like Daijoubu. It's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then apparently if you change the bit of pronunciation, you can change it slightly. So it's... Anyway, I think we've got off topic already.
But that's the whole point of this podcast. We get off topic all the time. And it's kind of distracting. I'm in this room and there's this massive poster. I think this was from a previous Gamescom or E3 or something?
I think this was from Gamescom 2016. Yeah, so this artwork that is sat behind me, so I have a wall of Oppai behind me, is Senran Kagura 2. You may have seen it on our Marvelous Games Twitter accounts posted several times.
Yeah, I saw this in person actually last time I came in, and it was near the door. So as soon as you walk in, you're like, wow.
Well, at least you knew where you were.
At least we knew where, because there was no sign before. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. There was no sign. It was just like a printed A4 paper, but now you guys got a sign, so that's great. But yeah, no, do you know what's distracting me the most? Oh, I even forgot the characters,
Well, you've got Hikage, Katsuragi, Homura, Hibari, Haruka.
Do you know what it is? It's actually Hikage.
Okay.
Do you know why? I'm going to sound like such a pervert when I say this. Because she's the only one that actually has a nipple. The rest of them don't have nipples.
If you look at Haruka as artwork there,
Yeah, but
it looks like she's wedging her breast under her arm.
She could be. But she is. And same with, I forgot her name now.
Which one?
This one. Yagi?
That one's Yagyu.
Yeah, okay.
Then you've got Naruku behind her. Next to her is Mirai. Yomi, the Kagura.
You know, I'm not a fan of the Kagura.
You'll upset someone I know by saying that.
I'm going to upset everyone. Last time I came in, I said Asuka's my favorite. But I'm wrong because I played Peach Ball. And I'll tell you who my favorite character is.
Drum roll, please.
There's no... Well, I'll put it in post. Or you can do that. Riona.
Oh, okay.
She's my favorite. I don't know why. I used to hate her in the old games because it was just like she's such a masochist. She wants to get like assaulted.
Is it because she's a dog in?
That's it. That's it. I was
you like dogs.
I just want to pet her. Like
should probably point out that you. Oh wait, you could pet the dog in Senran Kagura Peach Ball. Just go to interview Senran.
Oh yeah, you can do that. I was like, what? There's no dog. Oh, okay. Speaking of Peach Ball, because that's really what I wanted to talk about initially. Because when we were trying to set this up, it was specifically about.
Yeah, this conversation has been going on for about 3 months in the background.
So Peach Ball, what is it?
It's a pinball game.
When you hear that, you're thinking, oh, that sounds a bit shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like when I heard it, I was like, a pinball game with Senran Kagura characters. That sounds boring.
Amazing.
But I saw your gameplay. You showed like an hour of gameplay or something on the channel. Or
that might be Exceed, our North American partners.
No, it was you. It was you.
No,
it was 100% was you.
No, we have not showed it. Or do you mean my own personal channel?
I think so. It was on your personal channel.
Okay, yeah. If it was on my own personal channel, then yes, it would have been me.
Yeah, I think it was you. I'm 100% sure it was you. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna put it in the links in the description. But yeah, so you were showing it off, and I was like, this is a game that I need in my life, and I don't know why I need it, but I need it. Yeah, it's a weird one because it's like pinball games are so boring. Some people might be into pinball. I'm not into it.
It depends. I mean, I used to spend an abnormal amount of time playing Space Pinball on Windows ME, I think it was.
Okay.
Bit of a backstory here, but me and my dad used to compete playing Space Pinball.
Oh, yeah.
So we would play the game, like I would play it during the day, he would play it during the night, and we'd try to get the highest scores. And every time we got the highest scores, we'd brag about it, and then we'd have to compete.
So the question is here, does your dad have a Switch?
No, he doesn't.
Why don't you get your dad a Switch and get him a copy of Peach Ball, and you can still have that competition?
Because we could play it on my Switch.
Okay, you play it on... Okay, so do you play it on your Switch and have competitions with your dad?
Not yet, but you know, that might be in the pipe. Maybe that could be another video in the future.
You could do that. Dad, if you're listening, sort it out, mate. You could do that. That would be interesting. I would love to see that.
But yeah, no, we used to, as our younger growing up, Windows ME, Space Pinball.
Yeah.
I would get a high score, then he would play for hours on end trying to beat that high score, and then, yeah, we'd just compete that way. So I'm kind of good at pinball games in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not. And so this game for me was a struggle when I was playing it.
Okay.
Initially, I was like, what is this? I was only interested in the characters and the story. Even the story was a bit odd as well. I was just like, where's this going? Like, what is this whole ball thing and then putting them in the machine? And it was just like, what is this? But it actually made so much sense. I haven't finished it yet. Like,
# don't spoil the end game.
I'm not going to spoil it. But I mean, like... I can't spoil it. I haven't finished it, but I've been playing a lot of free mode a lot. I've been unlocking different balls to use in the game. A lot of different references to other characters. So I think if you're not really a Senran fan, it's not necessarily a game for you because obviously you're not going to know all the different characters. But you get an insight into certain characters that I felt that maybe didn't have much of a character development in previous games.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good way of explaining because you're getting... Each individual sort of character has their own sort of story that they've got to go through, and the focus is on that one character. So Asuka, Murasaki, Riona, Yomi or Yumi, and as you go through that story, you encounter the other characters in the game, and they sort of share their sort of concerns or frustrations as well as animal-related instincts.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. The fact that they're all animals. Like I was playing Asuka's story, and she thinks she's a cat. Right? Or was it a rabbit?
No,
sorry.
Asuka's a rabbit. Yumi's a cat. Asuka's a rabbit. That's the one.
Okay, so I was getting confused. But you know why that is? Is because I actually switched her out from the bunny outfit.
Okay.
I switched to the cat. So that's probably why. And that's what I like about it. You can switch the outfits a lot. So if you're like, oh, I don't like Rihanna as a dog, I want her to be a bear. She can be a bear.
Because she's bearific.
Bearific?
Bearific.
Is this a Monokuma reference?
You could say that.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it could be a Monokuma reference, or it's just me attempting a very bad pun.
You could. I've noticed that you guys do a lot of puns here. You're very punny.
Yeah.
In the office.
because we're just marvelous.
Because you're marvelous. I had to force that in there, but you know, I enjoy that kind of stuff, that dad jokes. I enjoy that. Oh, man, this is just distracting. Why am I looking at? I'm gonna look at this way the whole time. Actually, I'm gonna look at you guys working, just staring at you guys throughout the whole thing.
So yeah, we've got 2 Johns in the office behind a glass window.
Double John.
Double
John. Double J.
Jonas brothers. They're not brothers, by the way. I should clearly illustrate that. That would be weird. Yes.
Why would it be weird? It won't be weird. Do you think it will be weird?
Is everyone in your family just called John?
Wait, the stepdad is called John as well.
I did not know that, by the way, before we started talking about this.
Well, now you get to know more about your colleagues. You know, that's a big coincidence, because my mum happens to be called John as well.
Oh, nice. My dad's called John as well, but with John with an H.
Oh, okay. Well, this John with an N.
That's John with an N, and that's also John with an N.
Are they laughing at us, or they're just laughing at this conversation?
Probably everything in general.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you this from now. This is probably the last time I come to this office because of this episode. You guys are like, no, we're not allowed him. He's not allowed in the office anymore. He's too unprofessional.
Maybe not allowed in the office, but maybe we can go somewhere else instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Koei. Koei doesn't let me in the office.
Hi, Nathan.
Oh, sorry, Nathan. I don't understand. Why don't you let me in your office, Nathan? Regardless, we're here to talk about your games.
We're not talking about Koei.
We're not talking about Koei, okay? And speaking of Koei, I don't want to call him out here, but you guys released a hack and slash game recently.
Yeah, a couple of months back. Fate Extella, Link.
That's it. So it's a sequel game to
Fate Extella, the Umbral Star.
That's it. I'm not gonna lie, low key, it is my favorite hack and slash game of all time. So I'm a big Dynasty Warriors fan. I'm a big Warriors fan in general. I like that kind of game, but this game has a lot of quality of life improvements from other similar games, right?
I feel like it takes the sort of base formula of what a Musou game is known for, and then sort of elaborates it and incorporates into their own ideals.
I think so, and it kind of flips the idea on the head, right? Because in a lot of these games, you're spending a lot of time on a horse. You're traveling across the map. These maps are massive, but the fact that you can warp between different zones in the map and actually just get into the whole fighting portion of it,
yeah,
and you know, experiencing stories of the characters, etc. That's what I like about it.
In my mind, it gets straight to the core fundamentals.
It gets to the meat and potatoes of it, and I enjoy that because I'm not going to waste my time zipping around, you know, when I could just, there you go, this is the guy I need to defeat, go and get him, that's it. I also like the way that the stages are designed. You get a lot of repeated stages, don't get me wrong, but I mean, there are different variants of the stages, the colors are beautiful, the way the enemies look as well.
There's a lot of variety.
There's a lot of variety in it, and it kind of catches your eye, and I think I can never get bored of that game. I don't think that's the game that I'm just going to be like, you know what.
Don't forget, it's also got online competitive multiplayer.
Does it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So you can go online with up to 8 other players, 4 players, or was it 10 players?
10.
I forgot now.
That's a lot of players.
So yeah, 10 players or 8 players total, 4 to 5 per side.
Is it like, how does that work?
It is a bit like Domination or King of the Hill, whereby there's a set location that changes sporadically around the map, and you have to go to that location and capture it. And the team that secures that location for the highest points wins. So
it's kind of reminiscent of the Senran Kagura online game modes.
A little bit, yeah. So a bit like Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splashes, where you've got 3 locations, A, B, C, D. You've got to capture at different points to get points. The multiplayer in Fate Extella Link, it's just one location, and your one character's got to be inside that ring, and that will earn your team points if that character is defeated, or if somebody else.
So is it PvP, like I can go and attack someone else, or I have no interaction with that other player?
You have complete interaction with both players and non-player characters. So it's pretty much the online battle. It's pretty much a battlefield from the story mode, tweaked to then put in an online mode whereby there's NPCs, I won't say aggressors, but I think that's their higher class warrior, dotted around that you can defeat to build up your Noble Phantasm gauge and special skill gauges, but actual playable servants that are controlled by characters will be on the map that you can charge into and defeat as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's another thing that I enjoy about this game, the fact that you can respawn even in single player, because that's something that I'm not used to. So when you die in a game, that's it, you're dead, you have to restart the battle, but it's like you can respawn.
Yeah, the focus for that one was more so that the fact, I mean, in relation to sort of Fate lore as well, I'm not too sure how familiar you are with Fate universe.
Not familiar at all.
Is that as long as the servant hasn't been completely destroyed, like their heart hasn't been gorged out or something like that, they can reappear at a later date. So as long as the master survives, because obviously the master supplies the servant with energy and mana to keep them alive. As long as the master is alive, then that character can keep coming back, or that servant can keep coming back.
So I really want to know, within that game, who's your favourite character?
What, Fate Style Link? So probably people would know this already that follow me personally, but it would be Elizabeth Bofferoy. She is the dragon-esque idol.
Really?
Yeah.
The vampire?
Yeah. Well, not a vampire. No, she's not a vampire. She serves under in Fate Extella Umbral Star Tamamo, and her sort of attacks and personality and quirks to how she reacts to Tamamo just made me laugh. And yeah, but in terms of like character playing as, it would probably be one of the Saber class warriors, because they're more fast, strong, and varied. Maybe not Nero, maybe Nero occasionally, but not Artoria.
Okay.
It's as a character, I like Elizabeth because she's a lot of fun from the dialogue that appears in the game. She was always trying to overthrow Tamamo. She always wants to be the best one. I'm referring to the story in Fate Extella, the Umbral Star at this point. And that sort of personality and quirks were brought over to Link, but you don't get to see them flushed out as much. So she always calls the master Little Piggy. Okay. And yeah, interacts with the master in various different ways. But from like a character controlling perspective, then probably one of the Saber class warriors.
Fair enough. I think for me, I'm a big fan of Nero as well. But I mean, Nero more so because of the Noble Phantasms, right? That in itself was just, when I saw that for the first time, I was like, what is this game? Like the fact that it just takes you out of the stage and it places you in a different environment, and it's just, every time I do it, it feels like a treat for me. You know what I mean? It's like this is amazing. The visuals are great and the dialogue is great, especially the archer. I forgot his name now. What's his name?
Which archer you were referring to?
Red guy.
Nameless.
His name Nameless?
His name is Nameless.
Okay, so Nameless, I can't remember what he's saying. He's just talking a lot of nonsense.
I am the bone of my sword.
That's it. And it's just like in that Japanese accent, it's like, and he's just talking in English. And I'm like, this is beautiful. This is poetry.
You should point out at this point, when I first started playing Fate Extella the Umbral Star, and I carried it on in Fate Extella Link as well, was that I actually named my master as Shiro Emiya. Which people may recognize is the name of the main character or protagonist in Fate Stay Night. And Shiro Emiya, hashtag spoilers from this point.
Whoa.
Just bleep this out if you want to.
No, I'll keep the spoilers in. It's their fault for listening.
It's Shiro, I mean, it's an old story anyway, so they might already be aware. Shiro Emiya kind of becomes Nameless, so Shiro Emiya becomes the Archer class service Nameless. Right. Especially if you've watched Fate Stay Night.
I haven't, so you've spoiled it
Unlimited Blade Works.
There's no way I can bleep this out for myself. I just heard this now, and now you spoiled it. It's
fine. I did say hashtag spoilers.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to leave the room. So I'm going to leave now. I'm going to leave it. You
could have left the room, then come back 5 minutes later.
You think so? Yeah. Well, there's a recording.
Yeah.
But even if I left the room, I can still probably hear it.
Probably. What, you're saying I talk loud?
No, I'm not saying that. I don't know if your colleagues can hear us. They can hear us. No.
Yep.
They're shaking.
Can you hear us?
Everything. See, so
yeah, they can hear
spoilers. I think they can.
Did you hear my hashtag spoiler? Okay, so yeah.
So that could have worked out.
Yeah. Don't know why I say hashtag spoiler. It just kind of sounds funny.
It does, doesn't it? Let's talk about Japan Crate, because they are sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Remember, if you're interested, go to www.getalivepodcast.com/Japan Crate. That should redirect you to the Japan Crate website. It does help us out as well, so make sure you go and check them out. Let me talk about it. Let me tell you what it's all about. Japan Crate is this wonderful box that you get every month, filled with Japanese sweets and goodies, crisps, chocolates, candy, drinks, everything. and stuff that you might not even expect. Like a couple of times we've been getting bags of Kit Kats, Japanese Kit Kats that have exclusive flavors. So we've had sweet potato, we've had ojicha, we've had a lot of crazy flavors that you only get in Japan. That's stuff that you're not going to get outside of Japan. And I know what you're saying, well, I could just buy Kit Kats from my local Japanese supermarket. You're wrong, okay? Because they don't have the flavors that Japan Crate has, because Japan Crate has the regional flavors that you're not going to find outside of Japan. They're going here and there and everywhere to get those for you. Also, if you're buying from your local supermarket, it's going to be expensive. And I've often found that you're paying 15 to 20 pounds for a bag of Kit Kats imported directly from Japan. You could be paying 30 pounds a month and getting a lot more. Most of the times when they do include Kit Kats in the Japan Crate, I feel that you're getting a lot more value. They don't need to put that in there. They're putting that in there. They're putting in exclusive drinks. We've had stuff like Japanese Pepsi, crazy J-Cola from Japan. We've had Hokkaido melon soda, which is made from these special red melons in Japan that are really expensive. They're like thousands of dollars to buy these melons. Japan Crate is including drinks with those melons in the crate. So it's really good value. And you get to experience some new things. I personally love it. As you guys can tell, we're going to include it more in other episodes of the podcast, in particularly Umai. So go check Umai out as well, because we'll be doing taste tests there and things like that. Go to getlifepodcast.com/Japan Crate. Use the code GALP for $3 off your first Japan Crate. Believe me, you guys are going to love it. You're going to be subscribed to it for the rest of your lives because it's top notch. We often give them as gifts to our friends that we record with. So we gave some to Koei, we gave some to Marvelous. You know why? Because we love them, and we thought, what better way to give someone a gift than the Japan Crate? You can give it as a gift for a birthday. Someone's going to enjoy that. I've not met someone who hasn't liked the snacks in Japan Crate. And they're weird and they're quirky and they're really nice. You get like exclusive Cheetos and stuff. It's insane. The amount of value that you're getting, $35, is nothing for the amount of candy that you're getting directly imported from Japan. getlifepodcast.com/Japan Crate. Do the right thing, guys. Buy it. And actually show me on Twitter you opening your Japan Crate. I would love to see that. And hopefully we'll get giveaways coming up soon. We're in the process of redoing that. So go and check them out. You support the podcast when you do. Love you guys. I've noticed that you've got the mouse pad.
Yes.
The famous mouse pad.
It's kind of famous.
It is very famous. I saw it on videos and you were taking it around, etc. So what was the idea behind that?
So
famous video.
The famous video or the mouse pad in general?
Well, not the mouse pad. We know what the mouse pad's about. Okay, just the video. I want to know about the video.
Well, if you're referring to the video where I dropped it on a table and it made a massive thud, that was an idea that came around just because we wanted to illustrate how big and heavy the mouse pad was. So me and a colleague, we went out into the hallway because we were in a different office at that point, and there was a spare table there, and we just dropped the mouse pad onto the table, and the sound it made was the actual sound it made. Amazing. With no enhancements. Just straight.
Do you know what would have been very cool? If you bought like a really shitty antique table. Not an antique.
I know where you're going with this, and I wanted to do that.
And did it?
No.
Okay. That would have been cool.
I know I cut you off there, and I'm guessing you were going to say, did you want to drop it on a table and the table smash in half?
That's it.
Yeah, I wanted to do that.
That would have been the icing on the cake. I would have bought that.
Instead, I took it away with me to Spain and filmed an unboxing video.
That was still great, but I mean, because you were talking about filming it just to see like the impact, so people know how big.
Yeah.
It is, because it's somewhat life size. I don't know if it is.
Well, to be fair, I mean, when we first got one of the samples in, I actually took it home with me to see what ideas I could come up with outside of the office. And that
must be the greatest part of your job.
Well, when I get the opportunity to.
Well, I mean, even that.
And one of the other staff members, Sam, she said, it kind of feels like because of how big where the armrest is, it would feel like it would work better than a mouse pad if it was in a bath as like a headrest. So I actually tried that out, and credit where it's due. It actually worked quite well.
Could you use it as a pillow?
Yes, you could. I have rested my head on it countless times.
What I'm worried about is because I've got a big head. If I was to do that, I'm worried about one of them bursting.
I wouldn't expect it
sure?
to burst. Yeah.
What?
Unless you decided to just headbutt the thing. I mean, bearing in mind, I have dropped it on solid concrete on sand,
and it's been fine.
On a table. Well, no, because we're not got video.
That's a great idea.
That is true.
That is a great idea.
So
I didn't expect this.
I did not
so
even. So for those wondering what is going off and if you cannot hear, one of my colleagues, John, has just decided that we are going to drop the 2.3 kilogram mouse pad.
2.3 kilos.
Yes, 2.3 kilograms of mouse pad onto a table. And to be fair, this table probably will break from the impact.
Scott is a professional at this. I don't know whether I can match his skills at dropping the mouse pad.
You might be picking up. Are you gonna?
I'm gonna hand over.
Are you gonna hand over?
I don't have the courage.
You don't have the
You need courage to drop it. We have to get everything out of the way. We don't want to crush the candy.
He brought too much food with him.
I'm sorry.
But I'm not complaining because we eat a lot of food. So let's see if this works. I'm gonna regret this. Yumi has just landed.
That is insane. That is.
Probably needs to apology to anyone wearing headphones right now.
I don't know. Should I lower down the audio? I can do that in post, but I mean,
we should have probably done that beforehand. Like, we apologise for the inconvenience of the sound effect you're about to hear.
I'll put a warning in. I'll put a warning just so people know to turn down the volume. But that's insane.
Oh yes, thank you very much for.
I'm glad to have brought Yumi to the occasion.
You are now on a podcast.
I love that. That was great. That was actually really nice. The fact that you guys can do this stuff in the office is really nice as well. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just the fact that. Okay.
I mean, I do all sorts of crazy things.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of that you've not seen because I, in the end, not decided to share.
Yeah.
Most of which I do share. I should probably point that out. So you may have not seen before, but I've put clothing on the Renka Daki, such as hats, sunglasses, t-shirts. If I'm going away on holiday,
you take it with you?
I don't take the Daki with me.
Oh.
If I did want, interesting story. I did want to take the Daki with me on one holiday because I wanted to chuck it down a slide that would be at the pool, and I thought it would make for a funny Peach Beach Splash build-up.
It would be.
But I didn't get the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So whenever I go on holiday, I always like tweet a picture saying, "Oh, I'm leaving someone else in charge." And I'll have the Daki,
I've noticed that.
Or an Octoid plush, or a mouse pad, just because I can, really.
That's, that, I don't know, like, it's weird. Like, you know what you should do? You should go out, like, to Pizza Express. There's one nearby, right? Isn't there? There is a Pizza Express.
There was a Pizza Express. It's gone now.
Oh, the one here.
The one in the Victoria Centre. It went a couple of months.
No, but there's one.
Sorry. No, I'm thinking of Papa John's. Yes, Pizza Express.
Pizza Express is a bit more classier than Papa John's. I think she deserves that.
I think where you're going with this, we've already technically done it in a video.
You've done it?
Yeah.
You've gone on a date with the.
Yep. So when Senran Kagura SL Versus was being promoted, I wasn't with the company at that time, but the team here made a series of videos where they took the Daki out on dates, or go to the cinema, restaurant, all sorts of different things, playing in the park.
More so, I don't want to even see that video. I want to see the reactions to the people. They're like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like,
well, I mean, we can't see their reactions unless they post a reaction video.
That's true. That's true.
But the response that we got from people was that they loved it.
Oh, they loved it.
They loved it. There was, I can't remember if this actually went out or not, but there was one where at the end of the video, the Daki was spinning around in a washing machine. But I think that got cut out because it seemed a bit harsh.
Yeah, for the most part. Just want to know about the body pillow. Is it a sleeve or is it like it's one piece?
So it's
like is that a cover that you can put another body pillow in, or is it like this is sewn in?
No, it's a bit like any traditional Daki cover or body pillow cover you can buy. So it's just a sleeve. So all you really need to do is buy one of those
Body
pillows,
and then just put it.
and then just put it on. But sadly, we don't have any of those anymore because that was a limited edition item for the.
Is it double-sided?
Yep. So it has.
Because I wasn't allowed to. I was only allowed to look.
So yeah, one side it has Renka.
Oh yeah.
And then on the other side it has Hikage and Katsuragi, if I remember correctly.
Both of them?
Yeah.
So which side do you prefer?
I always use the Renka side. That sounds wrong saying that. I always use the Renka side.
Always use the Renka.
Context is required with that comment.
Of course.
But because it's a single character, but occasionally I've used it where because Renka and Hikage, Katsuragi and Hikage kind of like cuddling up to each other. But an interesting thing about the Daki is that it is artwork that was commissioned for our European release.
So this is an exclusive.
It was exclusive for us, and then the Japan team liked it so much that they said, "Can we use it in Japan for things?"
Okay.
So
nice.
Usually, how artwork works is that it's developed or created in Japan, and then passed on to us for use in Europe or North America if it's Xseed.
Did the North American version have this, or this was
Europe
exclusive?
We tend to do things differently from Xseed in North America.
So they didn't have the
no.
The really?
They didn't. I can't remember exactly what the. I think it was Endless Summer Edition they had in America.
Yeah.
And it was the Estival versus game with art cards and art book and maybe soundtrack. Whereas our European version had, I believe it was some chibi figures that were imported over from the Japanese version and Daki pillow case and soundtrack CD as well as the game.
I'm presuming they were pretty similar prices, no?
No, different prices.
Oh, different prices.
Because when we did our limited edition festival versus, there were 2 to 3 different tiers of LE.
Okay.
So you could get one without the Daki, one with the Daki.
Why would you want to?
Because we had limited numbers.
So how many numbers did you have? Like, how much stock do you think of that particular version that you had?
I don't know the details of that one.
Oh, true, because
I weren't here. The game was. I've researched about it, asked all the questions before, and because I wanted to know as well, because it's hilarious. I do know for the Peach Beach Splash limited edition, there was less than 200 of those
of the mousepad.
Of the mousepad one, because it was
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, because I thought originally. Because that is an exclusive thing. You can't buy that anywhere.
It was only exclusive with our LE or the LE in Japan.
In Japan, yeah. For the most part. Because I've seen online that companies like JList actually have licensed that out. But I'm guessing they got the idea from that special edition.
I would think so. Or maybe something similar.
I would imagine. Because I wanted to bring it today, but it wasn't going to come in time. So I was just like, I wasn't able to show it off, but you guys have one here, so I mean, I don't know which one's bigger though.
We got asked about the ones at JList or Hobby Stock, maybe. We got asked about those, saying, "Oh, are we going to bring these to Europe?" And it's like, well, we're just a games publisher. We don't go down the merchandising route. Well, although we have explored it in the past, but it's nothing at the moment. Yeah, I think those ones that Hobby Stock are doing are maybe a bit bigger.
They're $320, so
wow. I didn't realize.
I don't know how much the edition was for the PBS.
For the PBS one, it was like £180,
and that's including the game and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it is bigger, the Hobby Stock one.
I would imagine. I just want to see it now. Like
Are you searching on your phone?
I'm searching. Yeah. JList. We're talking about you guys a lot, so you better sponsor us because I really want to.
Just ask Swaps or Jake.
Jake is a nice guy. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know if he's willing to indulge in what crazy shenanigans I want to do. Okay, it's not loading the JList website because I'm on 4G. It's refusing to open JList.
Your network provider has gone. JList denied.
EE, if you're listening, please sort that out. JList is not dodgy website. Anyway, yeah. So we talked about PBS. That's an underrated game.
Indeed, yes,
it is because I was having high hopes for PBS. I felt PBS, when I saw it, I was like, this game is going to be like, there's going to be esports for it. Like, I don't know why. I just felt like there's going to be esports for it. You're going to have like how people have the Fortnite World Cup and stuff. I thought there was going to be a PBS World Cup.
It was interesting what happened with PBS because they did seem to have that kind of vibe around it, especially in the West.
Yeah, for me.
I mean, for the online multiplayer mode, there was two things that let it down. The first of which was when it first launched, the multiplayer was only European only. And so even if you had a North American version of the game, you couldn't play with European players. So it was, in a sense, region locked to your local area. Their patch was then released quite quickly, which expanded that option for global multiplayer. But that global multiplayer was only Europe, Asia, and North America. It didn't include Japan. And that was more due to the technical limitations with DLC and stuff. Because at the time, there was separate DLC available in each region, and it didn't work. And the players in Japan were different rank and levels and higher, and it just
they were pros.
They were well, yeah. There were just technical limitations.
Well,
that's
because PBS released earlier.
Yes, it was released in, I can't remember the Japanese release date, but there was about 8 months. I think it was a February release in Japan, and it was a September release in Europe and North America. But it was due to technical limitations of that's a different version game in Japan to what our version is, and DLC released at different times and content. So yeah, we had a patch came out and that had European, North American, and Asia multiplayer. But to access that multiplayer, you had to press a different button on the multiplayer screen.
I see.
So if you pressed X, which is the normal button to press, not circle.
Sorry, I'm used to pressing circle.
Unless you're playing Japanese only games.
That's it.
It would take you to local multiplayer, which is local as in Europe only. If you press triangle, it took you to global multiplayer, which was Europe, North America, and Asia. The next
I didn't know about that.
The next problem, I had to make a guide explaining this functionality. The next problem that sort of affected the game was the fact that for the multiplayer modes, when you made a search for a match, it wasn't searching everything, it was just searching a specific thing. So when you search all matches, search all matches wasn't actually an option. It would just basically search for a random set of specifics that had been predetermined previously. So you have to actually go down the menu and select what map, what match type, how many number of players, whether or not it's public and private, then search in order to actually list.
Find something.
Yeah. And then the next sort of little disappointment is the fact that when you get into a match and into the room, you only get 60 seconds for the other players to join before match starts in some match modes. So there was quite a lot of restrictions in place, not intentional restrictions, just oversights by the development team before you could play. And I feel like those, in a sense, caused it not to be as popular in the online multiplayer aspect. I mean, when it first came out, there was a strong online multiplayer community. I was heavily playing online at the time. I was trying to get top rank on the leaderboards, because there is a leaderboards when you play ranked match types, and I just wanted to be at the top to be like, here you go.
I'll tell you something, that because of all this multiplayer issues, I hate to say this, because this actually, I'm very upset to say this, I've traded in the game. Because of that. But other than that, I'm feeling now, I'm like, I really want to play this. But I go to different shops, I'm like, they don't sell this game anymore.
No.
I can't find it. I'm probably going to have to download it on PSN. But I did see the other day that a game store in White City, Westfield, has it, so I'll probably pick it up.
I've seen it occasionally. Every time I go to a game, I mean, we don't have one in Tunbridge Wells anymore, because they closed down. Apparently the rent was too high for the location. Every time I've gone to a game store, I always look for the games that we've worked on and published, and always try and take a picture and tweet it out if need be.
For the most part, when you kind of have to ask for those games, specific, at least the Senran Kagura games, because they sell them. Don't get me wrong, when the I forgot which was it. Renewal? Was it Renewal?
That was the latest one outside of the Switch tiles.
That was it, Renewal. It's basically the first game that was on the DS, the 3DS, sorry, sort of brought into the 3D style of Senran.
The Burst Renewal was Senran Kagura Burst, remade with the Senran Kagura Estival Versus engine, but it had also additional tweaks in there, because if I'm understanding this correctly, it was a slightly different development team and they weren't familiar with the mechanics of Estival Versus, so they were used to it via Burst Renewal. It's the story and elements from Senran Kagura Burst, but remade to the style of Estival Versus, but it had different features like the the burst mechanic and an enhanced parry and dodging system.
See, I enjoyed that game, to be honest, because I did own the original on the 3DS, and obviously I like that sort of fight style. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later, because there is a game that is upcoming for you guys that has a similar play style to it, in the sense that it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up type game. But we'll get that in a bit later. I enjoyed it, but I think there was one thing missing for me. Do you know what that was? Do you want to guess what it is?
Was it the mode that wasn't there?
It was the Panty Lottery.
Oh, okay.
The Panty Lottery was gone. To me, that's a staple.
But wasn't Panty Lottery only in Valkyrie Drive?
It was in Estival.
I can't remember.
It was in Estival. It was in Shinobi Versus as well.
It's been that long since I played them.
I think Shinobi Versus had a different style of Panty Lottery, though.
Oh, no, I'm thinking that... Oh, no, never mind. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the lingerie printer in Valkyrie Drive.
Lingerie printer?
Yeah, so it kind of a bit like
lingerie printer.
So, yeah, kind of a bit like the Pantry Lottery system that was in those two games you mentioned.
Yeah.
You could use the money that you've earned during the game to print a random set of underwear.
See, I like the sort of gacha features. I'm not going to lie to you. There have been times, and I'm surprised that not many YouTubers did this. Maybe it would kind of ruin their reputations, but I mean, you know how
probably YouTube didn't allow it for...
Well, for the most part. But I mean, I don't know if you know, like, there's a lot of idle games where people are like, I bought these packs and hopefully we get like a SSR. Like, even Senran Kagura has a sort of
in
like
Japan,
pack games and stuff. And I was like, whoa. I was thinking that people were going to do like Panty Lottery videos. That's an idea that I had. But I mean, obviously, as you said,
but maybe
YouTube
you should set up your own YouTube channel.
I'm going to... Well, I don't have a YouTube channel, but I can do it now. I'm going to do... That's what I'm going to do. Make money off opening Panty Lottery.
Panty collection.
That's it. I wouldn't mind doing that. I would not get monetized at all. Every video would be just...
I mean, to be fair, you can actually monetize Senran Kagura gameplay videos.
What do you mean?
On YouTube.
Oh, you can or you can't?
You can.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, so you could, but it might be limited because obviously sexual content and whatnot.
Which is a shame. That sort of stuff. I think there was another game actually that had... Was it Senran? It wasn't Senran. Oh, PBS had a similar sort of system, but
with the trading cards. Yeah,
that was cool. I like that.
I did. I really liked that, and I kind of abused the system a little bit.
Why is that?
Because somebody actually... Yeah, I don't mean it in a bad way. So basically, I like to try and get as many achievements and trophies as I can when playing games. And so Estel Versus, I got Platinum Trophy on that on both PS4 and Vita, and Burst Renewal got Platinum on that as well. And I'm trying for PBS. And PBS requires you to get like level 100 for weapons, and no, level 100 for characters. Was it level 100? I forgot now. Yeah. But basically, top level for characters, weapons, and skill cards. Basically, what I did was for some of the trophies, it was get this weapon to max level, get this weapon to max level for all of the different weapons that were available in the game. And so I did the thing where I had a set number of XP points or duplicate cards to get XP. And then I would use those to get the max weapon, unlock the trophy, but then quit the game, re-download the save, and then redo it again for a different weapon.
That's cheating. That's cheating. I didn't know you played dirty, Scott.
That was just so I could get the trophy.
The respect has gone out of the window. There's no respect for you. I came in today thinking, he's a nice guy. I respect him a lot. I look up to him, and now I'm like, I'm coming in with different feelings. I can't believe you would do that.
Yeah, but
using the system.
I was abusing the system. But I mean, to be fair, it didn't work out in the long run because I only managed to do it for 2 weapons because I did it for the other weapons.
Yeah.
In terms of I did it the normal way for the other weapons, and the remaining 2 I did it the abusing the system way. But it does mean that those 2 weapons were level 1 when I went online as opposed to the high level. So it doesn't.
For those that are listening, cheaters never win.
Yeah, exactly. Cheaters never win.
Cheaters never win. Hello. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll.com/kunai. We do love Crunchyroll here. In fact, we use it a lot for the podcast, as you guys know, and we encourage you guys to go and check out anime, especially watching legal sources of anime. You support the industry when you watch on Crunchyroll, and you get the largest lineup of anime ever. There's like more than 2,000 anime on Crunchyroll that you can watch right now if you go and sign up to our link, which gives you 14 days of Crunchyroll premium service. And what that premium service offers you is anime without ads, 1080p HD, and you can watch it on everything almost. Your PS4, your Xbox One. You can watch it on the Wii U if you still own one. You can watch it on PC, Mac, iOS, Android, even on Chromecast and Apple TV, Roku, everything. Personally, I love casting from Chrome onto my TV to watch Crunchyroll. It's amazing. Crunchyroll offers the most diverse collection of anime straight from Japan, each season bringing you the best new anime from Japan to give you that largest lineup of anime ever. Remember, if you are a big fan of simulcasts, you're getting anime 1 hour after release in Japan, which is insane. That means if you're watching My Hero Academia, whatever season that we're on now, as soon as it hits Japan, you're getting it 1 hour later, so you don't really need to waste your time with spoilers on Twitter. You can watch it straight away if you wanted to. That's what I love about Crunchyroll, and I'm sure you guys will love it too. Go to www.crunchyroll.com/kunai for a 14-day free trial of Crunchyroll Premium. I know you guys are not going to regret it, because I haven't. Thank you, Crunchyroll, for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Let's get on to the games that are being released for this year.
Ooh, exciting times.
Exciting, very exciting. Before the recording, obviously, you showed me a couple of the games. If we can quickly just go through them, and then we'll talk about.
So where do you want to start with? Do you want to start with?
It's up to you, mate. These are your games.
Exciting times.
Exciting.
So I mean, I've got to remember what I showed you, because there's that many titles I keep forgetting. So there is quite a lot. So obviously the first title I showed you was a Granblue Fantasy Versus.
That's it.
Which is the one that everyone seems to be looking forward to, which is a fighting style game developed by Cygames and Arc System Works, and we'll be publishing it in Europe. In addition to all the traditional fighting game elements you would normally expect from a fighting game, it has a original story mode that has sort of an RPG-esque style to it. So you get to upgrade your character, weapons, and levels, and experience raid bosses, and all sorts of wonderful, inventive things. Some of the other games included that I showed you today were Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, which is a side-scrolling action game with RPG and life simulation elements. There was then Rune Factory 4 Special, which is a Nintendo Switch game and a remaster of the game that was originally released on the Nintendo 3DS. Yet again, action RPG elements with life and farming simulation. There was then Burger Time Party, a reimagining of the retro arcade classic of Burger Time, which originally came out in the arcades by Gmode and Data East in 1982. There was also Hero Land, which... How we're going to talk about that one, I don't know. There was also Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes Complete Edition. There's that many titles we've got coming out.
There's quite a lot. Yeah. I'm actually surprised that you guys have this many titles going on at similar time. Yeah, it's like one or two. Like I've never.
It's the busiest year for us as a company. Most years we've only really focused on 3 to 4 titles, or one sort of main title, then 2 or 3 sort of smaller titles. While as this year and leading into next year, we've got pretty much 7 or 6 to 7 solid main IP titles,
and quite large IPs as well.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year to see. Well, an interesting time to see how we can get those out to the market and out to the people's hands.
I want to talk about the Hero Land first, actually.
Okay.
I want to talk about that. Was an interesting game because when you described it to me, I said I had a feeling it was going to be boring, but I was pleasantly surprised.
I need to find a way to describe it properly.
Yeah, I think that might be
because it's a very. I mean, you've played the game and experienced a bit of the game. So yeah, it's trying to find a balance of how to explain this straight away without confusing the person that's.
I think obviously when you guys have like gameplay trailers and stuff, that's gonna clear up a lot of the confusion behind it.
It depends,
a little bit.
It depends how the trailer is presented.
Yeah, maybe.
Watching a video and going hands-on with it is 2 separate things. But at the same time, you are watching the battles unfold. So
true. I think for me, the game is interesting in the sense that it's very, as you said before, you were talking about, it's very dialogue-based, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not used to that in an RPG, too much dialogue. But I think what kind of makes it enjoyable is the breaking of the fourth wall, the comedic aspects of it. There are some things obviously that I didn't enjoy about it, but I'm not going to talk about it here. That's what it is. Do you know what it is? It's not. A lot of games have that sort of voice, like The Sims got that, and
I mean, I refer it to Banjo-Kazooie.
yeah. But Banjo's not.
Uh-huh.
It's not annoying. It's funny. Do you know what I mean? Banjo's funny. This is. It's too much. It's too much. If they can change that before release, I'll be like, yes, lovely.
No, it's going to be that.
It's
It's going to be that voice. Yeah.
Okay.
But as with most, if not all games, you can turn voice audio off. So we would expect you'd be able to turn the voice audio off. I do feel like it would lose a bit of comedic appeal because that's part of the comedy. But if you don't like it, then
well, I mean, it's not like I don't like it. It's just one character in particular. It's the boss. I mean, like
the manager.
Yeah. Her voice is a bit annoying because it reminds me of me. So I mean, I can't handle that.
I mean, you have a nice voice.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Are you just saying that because I'm here and I got you candy?
No.
There
was a momentary pause there.
Yeah.
Like, look at the candy. Is that an answer I need to get? Yeah, no, it's not.
But I mean, as games go, I think for people that are listening, maybe give it a chance. I think I don't know the rest of how the rest of the game goes, but I mean, it's very unique.
It is very unique. We've all discussed it internally in the office and said it's going to be a bit of a challenge to try and explain what it is, where the entertainment comes from. Because, I mean, what do you want most from a game? To be good, to be entertaining.
Of course.
Is it entertaining? Yes, it is. But from, as you say, fourth wall breaking dialogue and comedy, is it easily to view when you're going on hands-on or in a trailer? That's where the difficult aspect lies.
Even hands-on, because you mentioned that the demo that we played briefly.
Yeah, I think we played for about 20 minutes.
20 minutes, you said that's 2 hours.
Well, that 20 minutes isn't
gameplay for the most part.
Yeah, it's mostly dialogue, weren't it? And character loadout screens and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I've been told that the demo that I showed you today could last up to about 2 hours in terms of, I'm guessing that's like the entirety of chapter 1 because the game is split into sort of chapters.
But obviously, I mean, like, unless someone plays that 2 hours, I guess it's going to be very difficult to explain what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to call out game reviewers, but I know there's a lot of game reviewers that they play a game for half an hour and they're like, this is my review, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that before. It's like, you didn't miss this bit.
I genuinely don't enjoy that. But I'm the kind of person that I'll finish a game from start to finish to review it, because I know some games aren't necessarily strong at the beginning, but they tend to be strong towards the end.
This one, I mean, I've mentioned it before to other people and at Gamescom that it is one that I've probably explained really badly, and that you do have to sort of sit down, clear sort of your schedule, just sit down, enjoy the experience, give it an hour. If you're not having fun with it, then obviously it's not a game for you, but it is something that you've got to sit down with, experience, and put time aside. But the story, the comedy, the fourth wall breaks.
I think what's the most interesting aspect about it is the fact that, in essence, it kind of reminds me of these dungeon crawlers, because obviously it's a parody of that in a sense,
yeah.
But I think it's also good for people who are new to those styles of games, right? Because imagine someone who's like, okay, play this Japanese dungeon crawl. A lot of people are not gonna touch it with a stick. Do you know what I mean? But this is more comedic. The art style is a bit more.
Somebody once compared it to Paper Mario. I don't know if that's a fair assumption.
I see that. Yeah, I see that. I see that for the most part, because they're sprites and they boing around, if that's the right adjective to use. Boing.
Boing? Bounce?
Boing. Well, I think
fall over?
It's because we're in this room. That's why. That's why we're thinking about boing.
I mean, you are looking at me behind a wall of Opie, so...
That's the reason. But I mean, that's how it is. But I mean, it's an interesting game. I think it can attract a lot of, I don't want to say casual players, but I think it's a game that will introduce a lot of people into this style of dungeon crawl RPGs.
It does make sense, yeah. And it does have those, as you mentioned, RPG-esque elements. I mean, I could try and do a pitch to everybody listening and say, this is the story of Hero Land, but they'll probably just be confused.
They'll be like,
what is this guy on about?
Yeah. But there were some other games that we saw as well. I can't even remember the names of them. Granblue Fantasy, that Versus.
Yeah, that's...
That game visually is just top-notch. I've not seen a game that looks that good. Especially a fighting game. But obviously it's Arc System Works, so I mean,
It's Arc System Works.
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, basically. But I feel like it's combining the art team of Cygames because they make really good artwork for Granblue Fantasy, which is a mobile game in Japan. Well, maybe not a mobile strict only game, but you can play it on mobile. You can also play it on web browser in Japan. And the art team that they have over there and the character designs and whatnot, the artwork is just gorgeous. Fantastic. It's amazing. And so I'm guessing that Cygames have worked with Arc System Works to bring those artworks and their visual ideas of what these characters would look like in a 3D to 2.5D element. And yeah, they've really brought it home with this game.
What I enjoy the most about it is something that you pointed out actually, is that when you're moving, the perspective changes slightly. The background moves a little bit with you. I think that's intense, and I like that. I also like the specials. I don't know what they're called exactly.
Skybound arts.
That's it.
You've got sort of 3 tiers of specials. You've got skills, which you may have noticed, and I forgot to point out while I was demonstrating this to you, is that underneath your health gauge, you've got the gauge, which is the Skybound art gauge. And then next to that, you have the skill, the like little squares. There were 4 squares. Those are your skills. And basically, when you use a skill attack, which is a bit like quarter circle square or quarter circle triangle in button prompts, that skill gauge will deplete and then replenish. And that's a reference to the RPG mechanics of the mobile game. So it also means that it acts as a bit of a combo break. So other fighting games like Tekken and Dragon Ball FighterZ, you can easily continue the combo if you know where to hit, which you can do that in Granblue Fantasy Versus as well. But the skills have a bit of a cooldown time, so you can't continuously spawn, reuse the same skill.
To be honest with you, that kind of reminds me of other games that Arc System Works have done, specifically the Persona.
Yeah. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax.
It kind of reminds me of that in that sense. And even then, the way that the gameplay is, it's kind of nostalgic.
Never played it before, but you're saying you count this nostalgic.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like
I do, yeah.
Because there's a lot of fighting games like that, and I've never really. More recently, I've been playing more 3D fighters, Tekken, and Dead or Alive, and this and that, etc. And then appealing, but I mean, like, I want something that I could just.
You want something that you can just visually look at your character getting beaten to a pulp by a dragon.
That's it. I want. Those elements are just beautiful. Do you know what I mean? It kind of puts me a bit off guard, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, imagine. I
mean, you did guard that attack from my Super Skybound art.
I'm just that good.
I was disappointed. I was like, oh, check out this move. Yeah. Oh, wait, it didn't hit.
Yeah, but fair enough. I tried to do the same, and you also blocked it.
Actually, I punched you before you could activate. So, well, I punched you during the activation phase. So
sorry. This is the first time playing the game. You had more experience than I did. I still beat you twice. So. You don't want to admit. Is that what it is?
No, I just didn't want to admit that I was holding back.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what it was. Back. I was holding back.
You don't need to hold back with me.
That's what I'm going to say. But,
yeah, okay. That's fine. Next time I come, if I am invited again, I'll bring my fight stick.
Oh, it sounds like a challenge. I like that.
Yeah, I'm all about challenges. I'll bring my fight stick. I'm not sure if I told you. I made a fight stick.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Did you use like a base or?
No, I made it myself.
What, from scratch?
From scratch.
Oh, nice.
Out of wood.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Out of wood, I made it, and then it has an acrylic back.
Did you go for any kind of artwork on the front, or?
No, it's just plain wood. It's just a wooden box, and then the artwork.
I feel like that'd be quite heavy to carry around.
Very heavy. That's why I didn't bring it today.
Oh, so you basically need a truck.
It's heavier than my suitcase, with all of my stuff in it.
I mean, fire sticks are heavy in general anyway.
It's a monster because it's hardwood. It's imagine carrying bricks. It's like that.
I don't really want to manage manual labor, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, I could have brought it. I think I was gonna debut it actually with DOA.
Oh yeah.
Because it's got DOA artwork on the back. Because I've laser cut some acrylic into it.
I really want to see this fire stick now.
I'll show it to you. I will tweet you.
You'll have to either tweet me or send me a picture.
Or I can come in and destroy you in this game.
That sounds even better, to be honest.
Yeah,
but I don't want you to struggle with carrying your heavy equipment.
I don't mind coming
3
in
flights of stairs.
Well, there's an elevator, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I mean, you've also got a fight stick as well, no?
Yes, I have. It's a Hori.
It's not as good as mine.
Hori Rap 4, which I've only been using briefly.
So I think your assignment after this recording, when you go home, practice with your fire stick.
There's a guy that I know, and he's gonna hate me for sharing this story, but I always hold it against. Are you familiar with Mark with a C? No. Okay, so if he listens to this podcast, he's gonna probably go and constantly tweet me with anger. But basically, Mark with a C is really cool in the fighting game community. Takes part in various different tournaments, events, and we were at a Dragon Ball FighterZ press event, and he fought against me using a controller, and I was using a controller, and he won. And then he was moaning, saying, "Oh, this controller isn't right. I prefer using fight sticks." And I was like, "Okay, well, I challenge you to use a fight stick against me then." So he used a fight stick against me, and I beat him. That is kind of the story. And then so basically,
well, I guess everyone that loses with a controller is like, "Oh, I don't." It's not just him. There's a lot of people that do that.
No, so I lost against him with a controller, and then he says, "Oh, I'm better with a fight stick." So I said, "I challenge you, me using a controller, you
and
using
him.
and I beat him."
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that are like that. They're like, "Yeah, man, I'm better with a fight stick," and then they're just shit.
No, he's actually really good with a fight stick, but it was a very close match.
Well, maybe you're just that good.
But that I think, to be fair, that's probably like the only match I ever won against him out of any other fighting game I've ever played. But I keep holding it against him because it's just a fun story.
Fair enough. One other thing I want to talk about is Sakuna.
Indeed.
That game is amazing.
Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
It's amazing. I've never seen a game that good before. I've only played like 10 minutes of it, but it's a bit like it's on a different scale to Granblue, because obviously it's not a fighting game, but the visual scale of it is I think when you told me it was developed by 2 people,
it's mind-blowing.
I can't even think how many hours they're doing, working day and night.
It's been developed for about 3-4 years.
That's insane. That is insane. But it shows off well. I mean, it kind of has this sort of gameplay similar to Senran Kagura, the old
Nintendo 3DS title.
And in that sense, it's kind of nostalgic, because there was a lot of games in the NES and SNES days that were like that, Ninja Gaiden, Mega Man, etc. So I mean, it kind of reminds me of those kind of games, but the customization that you can do, and
it's very
gameplay mechanics. The scarf is the best thing about it. I thought, okay, the scarf.
I noticed though that you didn't use it quite as much as I thought you might.
You thought I would use it more?
Yeah.
I think at first it was like I was kind of standing back.
Yeah, so I mean, when I tend to play the demo, I tend to use the scarf quite a lot, just to go behind the opponents and try and continue the combo. So as I mentioned during the demonstration, you've got light and heavy attacks, and then a special. But then obviously you can create sort of combos if you're doing the right button presses. And using the scarf, you can sort of get the enemy up into the air and then carry that combo along.
See, that's what I wasn't really relying on the scarf until the boss battle.
Yeah.
And you probably noticed that. But that's because I didn't know how to really use the scarf. I wasn't comfortable with the scarf at the beginning.
The idea of the scarf is to act as a way to dodge enemy attacks and avoid them, as well as reach places that you may not be able to reach, like the platforms at the start of the demo where it told you how to use the scarf and those kind of areas. But yeah, it's both a tool to get to places that you wouldn't be able to reach normally, as well as a tool that you can use to continue attacks and avoid enemies.
You know what kind of made me feel very comfortable with it? There was a point during the boss battle that I was like, this scarf is really cool. It kind of reminds me of, Demon Hand from Tokiden 2?
Yeah.
When you can use that to go up to different places and go around enemies and target certain points. It kind of reminded me of that, and I felt comfortable. I was like, this is great. This is just lovely. I like this. If all games could have this feature.
Have a nice, comfortable feature that you're familiar with.
I was like, I felt at home. If you just gave me that and you just like, play this.
And that's only one portion of the game as well.
That's what. I'm very excited to see the more city simulation. Not simulation.
It's more of life simulation-esque.
I'm excited to see that as well, because what you're saying about it is very intriguing.
Yeah, so for also the people that didn't hear the conversation, because obviously we weren't recording at the time, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin is going to be for PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and the PC version is going to be available as well. And the game has 2 separate portions. So the first portion is the side-scrolling action RPG element, whereby you control Sakuna and attack enemies that appear. And it has an RPG element whereby Sakuna can be equipped with new weapons and accessories, and any accessories that you do equip change her appearance. And items that you pick up during these action RPG-esque platforming elements, you can take into the second portion of the game, which is the sort of hub world life simulation area, whereby you are the harvest goddess and you've got to farm rice and take care of the village people. Not the actual village people.
Well, maybe they make an appearance. We don't know.
I can say for definite they don't make an appearance, but who knows? So yeah, you've got your own little hub world that's sort of a village with huts, and each one of these different huts has a different person in there. So there's a blacksmith, a woman that sort of arranges for the food to be prepared for the evening. We then have in this area sort of a location where you can grow crops and food, and the main objective is sort of to harvest rice, because you are the Sakuna is the harvest goddess, and you control that by planting seeds. You then have to make sure that those seeds are being watered, pick up or cut down, should I say, any weeds that appear, and make sure that it's being catered to. I didn't mention this when I was talking to you earlier, but when you're taking care of the area that you're growing your crops in, at the end of each day, it will come up with a evaluation telling you how well your crop is growing.
Okay.
And one other thing I didn't mention is that the scenery will change, so it has seasons like autumn, winter.
Oh, nice.
That kind of. So the environment will change slightly. So when it's summer, it'll be very bright sunshine, and obviously you've got to fill more water into the field to make sure that they're not drying out. Whereas in the winter and autumn months, you've got to not give them as much water, I guess, because there's going to be rain.
See, that's quite interesting. I like this whole dichotomy. Like, you have the two sides of the game, and there's obviously other games like that. You've got your
Rune Factory 4 Special,
4, which is not necessarily similar, but it has similar elements.
Yeah, I mean, those two sort of go together quite well because they have similar traits. But obviously, both of those games are developed by completely different teams and have been brought out at different times. So Rune Factory 4 Special is a HD remaster of Rune Factory 4, which was originally released onto the Nintendo 3DS. So the core gameplay is exactly the same as the original game, but obviously it has all of the visual improvements you would expect for HD port, as well as some new features such as the motion controls in the inventory section. There's also some other features that I can't yet talk about.
That's fair enough. I think that game in particular, I didn't know much about it, but obviously researching on Twitter, a lot of people are excited for it, but probably nostalgia factor, I think, would be...
It's a very... I mean, as far as I can tell, it was one of the most popular Rune Factory games. So there's been quite a lot. There's been 4 mainline games, and then there's been a few spin-offs, like Tides of Destiny and Frontier and things like that. But Rune Factory 4.1 was the one that captured the people's hearts and people really related to, and people have been demanding either a sequel, which Rune Factory 5 was announced early in the year, and that's in development, but obviously people wanted as well that Rune Factory 4 brought to a new generation of console, and yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Speaking about what the people want, I want to talk about stuff I want. I know that sounds a bit greedy.
That's all this podcast really is. It's for him to just barge his way into this office and go, I demand.
Well, it's not necessarily.
I didn't mean that in a bad way about it.
No, it's fine. it's more of a threat than anything. It's not. No, but on a serious note, I think if I may, I know no one's I don't think anyone's gonna listen to this, but I'm gonna say this just because I'm that kind of person that. Obviously, I enjoy the game offerings that you guys present and stuff.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, I see all the feedback that... I mean, we didn't say this at the start of the conversation of what I actually do at Marvelous, did I?
No, you didn't.
No, because I'm a terrible person.
No, don't say that.
Actually, not. I'm a fantastic person.
Okay, no, don't say that either. You're kind of in between.
I'm overselling myself at this point.
Don't oversell and don't undersell. You're average.
That pretty much sums me up pretty well, to be honest. Just an average guy that likes anime and Japanese games. So yeah, I'm Scott and I'm the community manager here at Marvelous. So I see all of the social media tweets and Facebook, Twitter, community outlets like Discord and Steam. And so I see every comment that comes through because it's me that sees it all. So even though you might not get a response, I do see those comments. and if there's any relevant comments, I do try and collate them into a report and send it back to relevant teams. So your voices are heard in some regard.
Nice. So I'm gonna give my voice as well.
But you're already muted, so.
Is that what it is?
No.
Don't tell me that, because I've been noticing you guys haven't been answering my tweets. So I was like, maybe I haven't been muted.
I just see the tweet and go, oh yeah, he can contact me via email.
Just block him. Like is that what you do?
No, to be fair, I don't mute anybody.
Okay.
I don't even block
Perfect.
anyone. So we do get a few quite, negative comments at times.
I take it that you still kind of take those negative comments and try and get something out of that.
Yeah. I mean, one of my older jobs, when I was with Funstock, we used to get a fair bit of negative comments for some of the different things that was going off at the time. Once was told, just block them person, and so you don't see those negative comments because when it's only one person managing in sort of a company outlet, you do see a mixture of very positive and very negative. And obviously, if it's a project you're passionate about, those negative comments does affect you. And obviously, if you block them out, then you don't see those negative comments, so you don't have to worry about it. But at the same time, you don't see what those comments are. So I tend to just not block anybody because I'm interested to see what those negative comments are, because it might actually help.
I would love to see, of course, more Senran Kagura games, right?
We all want to see that.
We all want to see that. But what I want to see in particular is I feel
like he's going to pull out a list, drop it on the table, and
it's
go.
It's going to be a list. But I think I want to see mainline Senran Kagura game on Switch.
Yes, that is one we do see a lot.
The only reason is because Shinobi Versus, right? That was on the Vita originally.
Yep. And then it was ported several years later to PC.
So I want to see. You know what? I want to see a Senran Kagura collection on Switch.
You'd be quite surprised how often we get those kind of
No,
comments.
but I'm being serious. I want to see Renewal. I want to see 1 and 2, like the original side scroller styles. I want to see Renewal. I want to see Shinobi versus Estival versus. I want to see a Peach Splat. I want to see all of the games on the Switch, because more so now I'm feeling that I don't see these games working on PS4 anymore. And I'm not going to put more sort of emphasis on that, but that's just my sort of personal opinions. And I think the Switch for me is a console that I'm, going to take with me everywhere. I can play it on the train. Oh, fun fact. I say this everywhere I go. I think I said it last time. I got kicked off the train once for playing Senran Kagura.
Okay. What were you doing?
I was
I mean, there should be some context. Like, maybe you're doing something else as well as playing Senran Kagura?
No, I was playing Senran Kagura, and it was a Shinobi transformation.
Okay.
And because, you have the option to skip it.
Yeah,
I did not skip that.
So did somebody, report you, and then you got kicked off the chain?
It wasn't necessarily that. There was a, not conductor, it was on the DLR.
Oh, okay.
You know how sometimes tickets and passes, they're like, can you stop? It's inappropriate. I said, I'm not going to stop. They said, get off the train. So I got off the train. That's happened a couple of times.
Wow. I've never experienced that before.
At least it's happened at least with other games. Like I've been playing Criminal Girls, which is...
I'm aware of that.
You know of that game.
Yep.
And motivational scenes and stuff. So, I mean, that was inappropriate.
I didn't play much of Criminal Girls.
I
couldn't get into it in terms of... Because I'm not too great with dungeon crawlers. I like... It's bizarre because Mary Skelter, for instance, I like the story, I like the characters, I like the artwork, but I can't get on with the dungeon crawling elements. I kind of start and then lose interest and then pick it up 10 years later or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, that's my style of game. I didn't think I would enjoy it either, but I mean, this game, hell yeah, man. But regardless, I just want to see more. I want to see more Senran. Estival versus the way it ended, I was just like, I want to see these characters more. I want to see more of the new characters. I want to see... I don't know, there were some characters that I felt needed more sort of...
I mean, there was over
love.
About 30 characters in Estival Versus.
I want to see more characters. I want to see hundreds of characters.
I mean, there is probably about 60 or so characters in the universe. In the universe.
For the most part. But I want to see more crossover characters. Because when I saw Marie Rose in PBS, I was like, hell yeah, I want to see Marie Rose in thing. Well, I also want to see more crossovers of the Marvelous IP, because we've seen with DOA, we've seen with the Granblue as well.
I mean, we weren't involved in that in any shape or form, even though we did get tagged in quite a lot of things. It's not us. And yeah, when I saw the announcement, I was like, oh, it's real, cool.
Yeah.
I guess now I have to learn how to play BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle and act as Yumi for a representative of Marvelous. Nitro Plus, Heroines Infinite Duel on the PC, PS3, PS4. That, in a sense, was one big crossover because it had all different Nitro characters. But Homura from Senran Kagura was a playable character in there.
That was the game with Sonico, no?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I did not play that game.
It had, it was mainly, so basically it was a Nitro. So Nitro is a brand in Japan that have various different sort of games
Characters
and elements and characters that it has licenses to. And so they made a fighting game with those different characters in.
You know, there's a trend in Japan. I think there was another game at that time, was like a manga company also did a similar thing. It had like Toradora characters and it had like...
Oh, you mean Fighting Climax by Sega? Because that was the one.
It.
Yeah.
I don't think that was released in the West, was it? No.
It was, but as a digital-only title on PlayStation Store.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, the sequel wasn't, because
Yeah.
it was a sequel called Fighting Climax Ignition, and it added like 2 extra characters.
I did not know that, but it's good to know.
Yeah, I had those at one point.
Okay, that was pretty much all my demands. You just kind of saw through it. I'm kind of disappointed now because I was like, I came out with all of these demands and then you just threw them away.
I wouldn't say threw them away,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean,
I just want to end this on another thing. Best girl, Senran Kagura.
ugh.
No, don't say as if it's something that you don't want to do.
There isn't a best girl.
No, there is a best girl, and we know who best girl is.
This is where I reach over to the keyboard and press end.
Just because you don't want it to.
Well, I don't really want this conversation to end in general anyway.
Really?
But,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
It's quite fun. First podcast ever, y'all.
Oh, is it your first podcast?
Yeah.
So I don't want to say it, but I know.
Yeah.
I tend to do that with a lot of people, whether it was Chin or Nathan or anyone really. I did an interview with KG Tang. You know KG Tang?
Who's she?
KG, the voice. I can't even remember what he's done now.
I've put him on the spot.
He's a voice actor in a lot of games. He's in Fire Emblem. I can't remember which
If you say a character I recognise, I'll go, I recognise that voice. But
You don't play Dynasty Warriors, do you? No?
Not really.
Okay.
The last one I really played was Dynasty Warriors Legends on the Vita. I did get a copy of 9 from Nathan. Thanks, Nathan.
9 wasn't the best game, by the way.
But I'd never actually got around to playing it.
You know Sima Zhao?
Oh, I don't.
Okay, you know...
Play some decent games.
Wow, okay. That's going to be on the record. Play some decent games.
Like Dynasty Warriors.
He's the voice of... You said that about Dynasty Warriors, so you can't flip that and say play some decent games. He was the voice of Kenshiro.
Oh, in Fist of North Star.
Yeah, not the Sega one, the Koei one.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he was the voice of, I forgot his name now. That guy Jan Lee in DOA, Kung Fu guy.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the voice of Hagakure in Danganronpa as well. The guy with the dreads.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So can't even remember what we were talking about. We were just talking
I mean, I segued nicely, or diverted, should I say, nicely, the question of best girl. But I've already said who one of my favorite characters before in an actual interview.
But that's not best girl.
Oh, okay, fine.
Favorite character is not best girl. I like Riona, but she's not best girl.
Oh, fair enough. Best girl's Mirai. There, said it. Job done.
Right.
I mean, look at her. She's got cat ears and a tail in PBS.
I know, but I mean, she's like pretty. She's Cinder.
Yeah.
I mean, you like Cinderella's?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, well, true. I mean, she's, out of all the characters, she's quite cute.
Well, to me, it's more of the personality.
I'm just not a fan of her cannon penis. That's a bit too much for me.
That's the best bit about it.
That's the best thing about it. It's a bit... it's like nothing against it. It's just
she can like... have you seen the Senran Kagura anime series? The original one?
No.
Oh, okay. So in one episode,
it's on Funimation, I think.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I was. Somebody quite rightfully pointed out that you can watch it on Funimation service in the UK because it's not actually. The series have never been brought out in the UK, but you can stream it on Funimation. And the sequel, Shinobi Master, is on Crunchyroll as well as Funimation. Yeah, they did do an English dub. I didn't watch it though.
That's weird. English dub is weird. Especially for a game that has never had an English dub.
Yeah, I actually quite interesting side story is that the English Christian, I think it's her name, but she goes by Chris Comics on Twitter.
Yeah.
I've had some engagement with her on the Marvelous channels as well.
Yeah.
Because she did the English voice for Murasaki.
Okay.
And when she found out that there was Peach Ball with Murasaki in a bear outfit, she went and did a fan drawing of that character in that outfit, and she was really good and it was really nice. And so I was having a bit of backwards and forwards with her on Twitter about that artwork. But yeah, we couldn't really do much more because obviously we don't have English dub. But yeah, so in the Senran Kagura anime series, there's one particular episode where Mirai, it's kind of a bit like Hermione's bag in Harry Potter, where she just has this little portal appear, and then she takes out a miniature air jet, and then just jumps on it and flies away.
That's so cool.
But that is actually a special ability that she can use as a secret ninja art in the Senran Kagura games. I think it's a top tier one as well.
The thing is, I don't play Mirai, but that's probably why. I mean, like, I'm put off by the cannon. It's so intimidating. Like, the gun is bigger than her.
I mean, it's a weird thing because I like the characters. I like Mirai from a personality perspective because some of the things that she's gone through in her life, I can sort of relate to in mine. Not on, the depressing scale of what she's gone, but there's certain things and elements that sort of, I understand that, I recognize that. So that's how I connect with that kind of character. But ironically, as I mentioned before we started recording, I don't like using that character in the game because her moveset is quite difficult to use with. But she's always the favorite character that I go to.
Like before, I used to say Asuka was best girl, but she's annoying. I was playing Estival Versus the other day, and I'm like, she is kind of very whiny.
She reminds me, reminds me of Goku in some instances.
Goku?
Yeah.
From Dragon Ball.
Yeah, from Dragon Ball. Or Son Goku, or Kakarot, or whatever you want to call it. Or Goku Black, if you want. No, not Goku Black. By the
Okay, sorry. I find this quite hilarious, comparing it to Goku.
The reason being is that Goku doesn't really have the ideals of good or bad, and neither does Asuka. She knows there's evil shinobi, but even if they are evil shinobi, she soon converts them into sort of a good shinobi.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And Goku is kind of the same way. Like every fight that he goes up against, apart from Cell, I guess, he sort of converts that person to a bad guy to a good person. And that's the kind of similarities that I connect, and the fact that she's always happy and never really depressed or down.
True, but I mean, sometimes it can be a bit fake. Like, to me, she seems a bit fake. Because there's no person like that in real life. Like, I've never met anyone in real life that's just that happy. I'm like, okay, cool. What drugs are you taking, and how can I get some? Do you know what I mean? Like, she just seems so optimistic, and I don't enjoy that.
I guess that's just her personality. Maybe that's why people prefer Yumi, because she was more mellow and monotone.
Which one's Yumi?
The Ice Queen. Well, that's the nickname I gave her anyway. So the one with the.
I know what you're talking about.
Apparently, she was voted in Japan as the top one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie,
and that's why she appears on all the Japanese artwork, is because that's why. I could be wrong on that.
Well, maybe you're just projecting your thoughts on it. I don't know.
I did go out once with an incorrect tweet.
Really?
Yeah. I was meant to upload a picture of Yozakura, like fist of ice and it or something, and it went with Yumi instead for somebody corrected me. I was like,
I like. Is her name Hibari?
The pink-haired one.
Yes,
that's Hibari.
She is like, for me, she's just a marshmallow. Like, what I mean by that, it has nothing to do with her appearance. She's just she's like sweet. She's like.
I think that's also Takaki's favorite character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for people that don't know, Takaki is the creator of
That's
Senran
what I'm saying. So I mean, great minds think alike, I guess.
But yeah, we think Hibari is Takaki's favorite.
If he's listening.
He follows me on Twitter.
Well, tell him that.
And I don't mean he follows Marvelous, but he follows me personally on Twitter as well.
Oh, okay.
So.
Have you ever had like a conversation?
No.
Have you ever like told him your best girl's wrong?
No.
And then you get a letter of like, you're fired, mate. And you're like, oh, no.
I've sent him sometimes some tweets.
Yeah.
In Japanese.
He's got an English Twitter as well. No?
Yeah. Well, I think the English Twitter was like managed by someone else.
Oh, okay.
So
it's like translations of his
tweets.
Tweets.
So Takaki-san's Twitter account is himself. but the Takaki_English one was like, I think when it was more involved with promoting Estival Versus and whatnot, somebody would translate his tweets, post it in English, kind of a bit like Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I thought Kojima spoke English.
I've never met him, so I don't know.
Either way, so Hibari, she's just so like.
Have you experienced the story? You said you played Burst Renewal, so I'm assuming.
I've played, yeah.
Did you experience the story portion with Hibari there?
Not yet. I've only played Asuka.
Well.
So I haven't even. What it was I was playing Fate Extella.
Yeah.
And then I was playing. I got the review code for the Peach Ball, and I've been spending a lot of time on Peach Ball, so I haven't really gotten into.
Have you noticed that the actual Peach Ball that takes the at the start of a match in Peach Ball, when it goes 3, 2, 1 and then flies off, the rabbit that carries the Peach Ball is the spirit that Hibari.
What I did notice though is the Murasaki. Is it Murasaki, the one that doesn't talk that much?
Yeah, with Bebe.
With Bebe, yeah. I've noticed that because I was like, oh, that's cool. Because I didn't realize that it was actually her doing the voice.
Indeed.
And I was just like, what? Because she's always talking about, it's just like so, like that. But I mean, I didn't know that it was her doing the voice until Peach Ball. I was like, fucking hell. Like,
it's quite interesting. I mean, some of the voice actors that provide the voices for the characters have quite long range in vocal talents. So, I mean, I've started doing occasionally celebrating the birthdays of the voice actresses.
Yeah.
Or Sayus, as they're known in Japan, when it's their actual birthdays, as well as characters from the game. When I was like sort of researching what characters they'd done roles in and whatnot, there were some characters that had played one role in Senran Kagura, which was like very high pitched and bubbly and colourful, and then they'd voiced another character, say Valkyrie Drive, where it was a very deep, dark toned voice, and the range is
just
insane. Yeah.
Quick question: if you shaved all of their heads, do you think they look the same?
In Peach Splash, yes.
I just mean like in general, not just in Peach. Like I mean like. I see a similarity between a lot of the characters, in particular Asuka and Homura, and I'm starting to think, are they like related? Is that like a plot point or something, like a secret?
Not really, but depending on which artwork style you want to shave the heads from, might depend whether or not they actually look the same underneath. Because the artwork style was changed in Estival. It's changed over the years, so they got a new artist in for Burst Renewal, and I really like the artist that did the artwork on Burst Renewal.
Because I noticed in previous games, like when you change the character's hairstyle, you're like same. You can like make it look exactly the same.
Peach Splash, I think, was the first one that stood out the most, where you could pretty much like all the character models looked pretty much identical, apart from core features related to that character. So the eyes, for instance, the colours of them and whatnot, they were the only real differences.
I think that's kind of improved even with Peach Ball, because you can change the outfits, but I'm like, that's still Asuka, that's still
Have you seen some of the creations that people have made using
the dioramas?
Yeah,
people are disgusting. People are disgusting, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Have you not? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
people are disgusting. It makes me not want to live anymore. Like I'm like, especially what they do with the balloons.
I know exactly what you mean.
I'm like, is that the first thing people are voting? And I'm like, no, people should not be allowed the internet.
Yeah, so Estival Versus had an option where you could create your own diorama creations and share them online, and people could vote, which didn't make it through to the next games, but.
I'm glad it didn't.
So, I mean, you could still make them in diorama and share on your own feeds, but there wasn't like a competition. But on social channels, I did like a trend called #diorama creations, and was getting people to share their creations with us. And some of the results that came out, I was like, how is this?
And they're the top results.
Yeah, usually
they're the top results.
So I spent a couple hours making this. It's like,
that's creative. But I think at the same time, they shouldn't allow certain things to be coloured certain colours. Especially aubergines. That's all I'm going to say.
And eggplants.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be done. But people do some insane stuff.
I mean, they look good in a still screen. Well, not good, but when they've made the creation and put it into the the diorama where the positioning and stuff like that, yes, it would look creative. But I bet if you took that character and put it into regular gameplay, it would look bizarre.
It would, of course. I mean, it wouldn't work. even there's some things within other games, like there's the stuff that you can put in, like you can put a Kagura on someone's head.
Yeah, I did that.
That's dumb. Like
Why?
what? That is dumb. It's like, no, don't do that.
You know, with the I don't know if you saw, but all the screenshots for
Yeah.
Peach Beach Splash.
Yeah.
I was the one that captured the footage and took those screenshots. So all of those are everything that I did, especially for the PS4 version. And one of those was with the Kagura young version on top of
So stupid.
Arai's head.
That is so stupid.
I did as well when the game came out, just for the fun of it, is I filled the entire customization slot with just Kaguras that were stood side by side. So you just had a wall of Kaguras.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool. But doesn't that affect your hitbox?
No, because
No.
well, I don't think it did.
I thought it did.
I don't know.
Imagine that. That would be insane.
Maybe that's why I died so easily.
That might be it. I thought it did affect the hitboxes, but I'm not sure. The stuff that you can customize though in Senran, it's a bit insane.
Indeed, it is. I mean, it's really good, but yeah, the creative. I don't really want to call them geniuses.
Creative genius.
but they are kind of ingenious because yeah, I mean we don't really advise going out and looking for these creative dioramas.
I think more so it's not it's insanity. That's what
well,
it is.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first saw that, you see the usual ones like, oh, here's my new outfit, and it's like, okay, cool, that's great.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see the next one, it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah. You're like,
It's like, I think you should have tagged that not safe for work.
Yeah, probably.
Although we don't really have that here. So.
No, not for the most part. I think what would be very interesting to see for the future is maybe like a costume design tool. That might be interesting. If you understand what I'm saying, like an actual,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, or at least some sort of community engagement. I don't know. I know it sounds pretty dumb for me to say, but there's other games. DOA has this a lot, where they get the community to design like costumes and stuff, and people come up with some really nice stuff. And I think that would make sense with Senran. Like, you get people and be like, hey, design some costumes for DLC, and then
maybe we cast a vote and see which one
yeah,
gets made.
because I think that would be very nice in community engagement. Like, I think you can do certain things, and people are more likely to buy DLC that they've made.
I bet to be fair, they probably go, actually, I made this, give it me for free. Which you should.
Think for the most part, I think Koei did that. The winners of the thing, they got the DLC for free. But
that's quite a creative idea when you think about it, in terms of doing engagement and getting people involved in something that they do care about. Because, to be honest, people that do use diorama mode and come up with these ideas with different outfits and designs are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, of course.
Even if it is, not safe for work, they are still very creative and going beyond, in a sense, what we would think was
true. But
possible.
I think sometimes when you talk about the not safe for work stuff, I think the game knows this internally.
Perhaps.
Because I've seen Beach Ball. There are some diorama poses that were not in previous games, and I'm like, I know why you've put that in. You're embracing it.
It's got to have some new features.
Well, I don't want those features. Well, maybe I do, but I mean, for the record, I don't. I think that's a good place to end this episode. Do you think?
I think it is as well.
You think it is? Okay.
We have been talking for quite a long time.
We've been talking for about an hour and a half, but obviously before.
Yeah, it's probably about 3 hours we've been talking.
Probably. But I enjoyed this.
I did as well.
Nice.
A lot of fun. Hopefully everyone listening has enjoyed me talking as well.
I hope so. I have a feeling that we're going to get a lot of backlash.
Why?
From people. They're like, no, your best girls this. Best girls are always something, because I haven't.
Maybe you should tag my Twitter handle in, and then people could direct me the hate.
People will be like, no, he works for the company. He has to be impartial. He can't say this or that. But people will be like, but you said this was best girl, and it's not best girl.
Can I just give one shout out? Not to any personal.
You can give a shout out.
But I'll say hi to Nathan again. Hi, Nathan.
You think Nathan's going to listen to this? I don't think
no, he probably won't.
He won't. Unless you direct Nathan. Then people are like, yeah, I'll watch it.
Nah, I'm good.
Really?
No, I think I will.
I'll put Nathan in the title. I'll be like, featuring Nathan.
Well, it has been mentioned about 8 times in this
That's it.
thing.
I'll put him in the description. Nathan.
Sounds like a name for a game. Anyway, no, the shout out I was going to say was we were referring to Fate Excel Link earlier, and I've been watching Fate Apocrypha quite a bit recently, and Astolfo is such an amazing character.
I agree.
Yeah, that's.
I agree. I 100% agree. Even in the game. But I don't want to get into that a bit. Does he not agree with that?
Who?
Is that why you called him out? Nathan?
No, I weren't calling out Nathan.
Oh.
I was just saying hi, Nathan, just because I wanted to.
Okay. That being said, bye, Nathan.
I just the whole point of me stopping saying can I do a call out was to say Astolfo is amazing.
Oh, is that why?
That was why.
You just wanted to segue into that.
Yeah. So, like I said, watched Fate Apocrypha recently, and it brings more personality to that character than what you would see in Fate Extell Link. And obviously, that character was great in Fate Extell Link. So, yeah, I've got a big appreciation for that character. But no, you were saying that you liked Fate Extell Link, and I just wanted to throw that in there. So
fair enough.
That was why.
I think to end this episode, I just want to thank our sponsors today, Crunchyroll and Japan Crate. So if you guys want to get a Crunchyroll subscription, because we did mention some anime, I don't know if Senran Kagura is still on there, but you can check if you go to www.crunchyroll.com/kunai. You get yourself 14-day free trial. And if you want some of these snacks, we gave these guys snacks, but if you guys want your own snacks, that ASMR, people are going to love that. I tell you now.
What, sound effects?
The sound effects. People love that. Believe me. We used to eat snacks on the podcast. People loved it.
I mean, I could have done that, but it was a bit too early to eat.
I think it's a bit too early. Well, maybe
I mean, it's not now, but I mean, it's too. Wow, is that late already?
It is. Oh, we got it. We got to wrap this up. So, I mean, if you guys want to get Japan Crate, go to www.getalifepodcast.com/Japan Crate. You use the code GALP for $3 off. I know it's a lot. $3 is a lot, isn't it?
It's better than nothing.
Better than nothing, especially in this Brexit climate that we're in. $3 is like 1,000 British pounds now at this moment.
It might be by the time this goes out.
By the time this goes out, yeah, we're probably going to be like post-apocalyptic Britain. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Scott, for being on. Hopefully we have you on again in the future.
Thank you very much for inviting or asking. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I hope my voice hasn't been too dull and boring for you.
Hopefully it hasn't. I don't think it is.
I did get told once that my voice was quite monotone.
I'll tell you something about that after the recording. Anyway, see you guys.
Bye.